to Truth Moment. I'm your host, Tierra Pritchett. I'm laughing at your face. When something is submerged in the fire, then its shape can shift. Yeah, it can shift. Welcome back to Truth Moment. It's your girl, Tierra Pritchett. So tonight, guys, first of all, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I know we're a little behind, so thank you guys for just bearing with us. And tonight's guest, it's weird. Like, I've been doing this for quite some time now, but I'm a little nervous. Your girl is a little nervous tonight for tonight's guest to be on and to see what I do, which is crazy because we live together. I'm just gonna put it out tonight. I have slept with tonight's guest.
There we go.
I'm just gonna put it out there.
Nepotism at its finest.
And the 3 kids are the result of that. But yeah, tonight's episode is the cost of ambition. So it's no secret by now, my guest is my husband, but he's also doubling and coming on as an artist tonight. So I have Qwintis Sential in the building. Quinn, thank you and welcome to Fly 93.5.
Appreciate it. I thank you for having me, and I want everybody to know that I had to pull teeth in order to get on here and tell my story. So I didn't just get up here just by asking. I actually had to work for it and beg and convince and all that. So I did my thing to get up here.
He did. I'm not gonna lie to him. I didn't just let him on because he's my husband. Like, absolutely not. Because I take what I do seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and so, but we talked about it, and the more we talked about it, I felt that it was important for him to come on. 1, to tell his story, but then 2, even though Quinn is going to be bringing by his CD, his album will be dropping soon. So we're going to talk about the album. He's going to tell us some stuff that's going on with the album, some behind the scenes things, and also I'm gonna have him spit a 16. He said he wasn't gonna do it, but I told him
say that.
If he doesn't do it, I'm cutting his mic. The sound guy he's here tonight, so I'm cutting his mic if he does not spit.
All right, we're gonna say that for the end.
We'll save that for the end.
Maybe I work up enough nerves.
And so, like I was saying, in this episode, the cost of ambition. What is ambition? So when you actually sit down and unpack what it means to have ambition, it means to go hard for something, to really want something in excess, to where oftentimes you are willing to stop at nothing until that thing is achieved or attained. So whenever you're going for things like that, it can be hard to maintain relationships, friendships, jobs. It can be hard to maintain these things. And I think it's especially difficult and has to be noted. It's hard if you're with someone who doesn't understand if you're an overly ambitious person. So again, Quinn, I want you to tell, because some people may not know who you are. Hopefully I have listeners out there who are new to this Truth Moment scene and era, so they may not know that I have a husband who raps.
Right.
So again, introduce yourself.
And you should know.
So,
if you know her, you should know me. That's what I look at.
And vice versa.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I am married to this beautiful woman here. We've been married for what? Almost 9 years this year.
Almost 9 years, yeah.
I've been doing music
Next month.
Yeah, right.
Next month.
I've been doing music for about 9 years as well. And it's so crazy. I don't want to go too far back, but you know, I had to convince her that I needed to be on here to tell my story and all that. I also had to convince her that I wanted to do music and that I would actually be good at doing music. I'm still trying to prove the good part, but you know, I feel like I've come a long way in this whole music thing. But yeah, doing music for 9 years, and I'm still grinding, still feet on the pavement, still doing open mics and things like that to get my name out, although I haven't been in a while. Yeah, I don't know anything else that you feel like I should say or tell that as an introduction. I go by QS the Best. I focus on lyrical content. I generally tend to have deeper subject matter in my music. Not to say that I don't have stuff that's popping. It's just that I kind of steer away from the mainstream a little bit, and I'm really hoping to create my own lane with my music.
Okay, I want you to kind of take it back. So, when did this whole music thing start?
Man, it's actually started. What was it? 2004, when I was at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. I was only there for a semester. I blame Halo for that because my GPA kind of dropped hanging out with my friends. But one of the guys I really became cool with, he made beats in his room, and up until that point, I loved music. I always loved music, but I never thought about doing music. So he would play beats for me, and he would spit some stuff, and so I was like, man, this is really cool. I'd like to write stuff, but I ended up dropping out of UTC, and so I never really did anything. And then a couple of years later, I was living in San Antonio, working at Champ Sports, and one of the managers there, he made beats. And so he showed me how to make beats in Fruity Loops, and he played some of his beats, and was like, cool. Thought I was gonna start doing music then as well, and it kind of fell off after I got fired from Champs. I'm not gonna tell y'all why, but I ended up getting fired from Champs.
I was in the picture then.
Yeah.
When you got fired?
I mean, you were kind of there, but you weren't there.
Yeah, no, I wasn't there. I think you blew up my phone telling me about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I got fired, man. But yeah, so I let it go after I got fired. I felt like maybe it was just one of those things that was just an itch, but it wasn't anything serious. And then finally, what was it, about 2008 is when it really kind of came back. And I remember it kind of like it was yesterday, I guess, since I'm vague on some of the details. But Swagger Like Us had just came out.
Okay.
And I remember that was the first beat I had ever written to, was that song. I don't remember any of the lyrics. I remember sitting at the computer, and I was on YouTube, and it wasn't even the instrumental, it was the actual track, but I kept going back to the start of it and kept writing, and I didn't know anything about 16s or how long hooks were or anything like that. I just wrote bars and bars and bars. And that's when I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then about a year later, that's when I finally was like, okay, let me try to do this on my own and make this thing real. I purchased equipment, to set up a studio in our apartment in one of the closets. Got some beats off of SoundClick, and the rest is history.
Well, one thing I want to touch on is your name. So your name is Qwintis Sential. I'm joking.
Oh my God.
Nah, that's what he gets called sometimes
Yes,
when we
I
go
do.
places.
I will tell people. They will ask me.
There's
how
a
to
difficult
pronounce it.
spelling though.
It's not. People will ask me, how do you pronounce it? And then not even 2 minutes later, they will butcher the entire thing. So like most people now just ask if they can call me, just go, say Quinn, or just call us QS or just Q. But I mean, like,
Okay, so where did the name come
you.
from? It's quintessential. Where did the name come from?
When I started writing, and I was just doing straight up freestyle, so no songs, I was like, man, my name is Harold James Pritchett. I felt like I couldn't go by my name. I was a little embarrassed by it at the time. I've grown into it now, but even as an adult, I was still embarrassed by it at the time. So I was like, man, I need something else. I need something that's going to represent who I am and what I want to do, and who I want to be as an artist, even though I hadn't really put anything out yet. So I was like, thinking about it, couldn't come up with anything. T and I went back and forth. She has jokes about some of the crappy names.
Oh, Lone Star, right?
Oh my God,
I did.
I hate it.
Because you guys gotta know,
that.
like, he moved from Texas to Tennessee where we met in high school, and so when he moved from Texas, I said Lone Star.
Yes, you did, and I hate it to this day. It gets to me every time I think about Lone Star. Anytime someone says the Lone Star State, I have to think about that stupid name. Not that the Lone Star State is stupid, but the fact that she wanted me to call myself Lone Star. So I would just, one night just laying in bed, I was thinking about it, praying about it, and a commercial actually came on, and I don't remember what the commercial was for, but it said something was the quintessential, and that's when I was like, boom, that's it right there. And for me, because I know that the follow-up question that I said I wasn't going to answer is coming. Like, to me, what it means is, like, it's the essence. I feel like I'm the essence of hip-hop and what I'm trying to do in hip-hop.
Okay. So as you know, this isn't just a come on and brand your product show.
It should be.
So we have to touch on the mental health aspect of it, because, it's truth moment. This is your truth. But like I say all the time, everyone, whether they want to accept it or not, has some aspect of mental health or an issue with their mental health. And whether or not they deal with it or it has come to the forefront, there's some aspect in all of us. So I want to go to the place where you have this dream. You want to become a musician, but yet you have a kid. And because it was just me, you, and James when you started this, when you bought the equipment, and I was supportive. And I think that's something that, the cost of ambition is easier it's less of an expense if you are with someone that understands and they're ambitious as well.
Right. Absolutely.
But at that time, all I wanted to be was a therapist. I went to school, I got my master's degree, that's all I wanted to be. But you wanted, more. You didn't see yourself with just a 9-to-5, even though you were in school. And so we gutted the closet, we put our clothes in our son's closet because he was a baby. And I helped you put up the egg crates. Mm-hmm. What we did, we got the foam mattress, and then we put it up on the walls and everything. And I even wrote inspirational quotes and scriptures on the wall so that you could see why you were in there recording. But how did you tell yourself, okay, it's okay for me to do this with a wife and a new baby, and I'm starting this? I'm not like a young single dude getting into this.
Well, and I think that you kind of said it for me in that we were having the conversations about purchasing the equipment, and then not only purchasing the equipment, but also finally, we got them off of SoundClick, but leasing those beats, mm-hmm. And I mean, I was so nervous to do it because if you don't know, purchasing your own equipment, especially brand new, is super expensive. Even if you get the bare minimum to record, I mean, it's super expensive. I remember going to Guitar Center and pricing everything before I even bought anything. Same thing with SoundClick. I went through and spent hours and hours on there, looking and searching for beats and listening to beats, finding out which ones I could lease, which ones that I could afford to lease and how many I wanted to lease. But when it was hard, even thinking about it to this day, like, it was very hard stepping to you and saying, like, hey, we got to spend X amount of money on this while we've got a newborn, while we've still got other bills to pay, while Sally Mae's still calling the phones and knocking on the door, like this, trying to convince you that this is an investment in something that I believe could be fruitful at some point. And obviously this is before I had even really put anything out, before you had heard anything. So I mean, it was more so a leap of faith on your part. It was hard for me to ask you, but your leap of faith helped me to be like, okay, you know what? Like, if she's okay with me spending this money on this equipment, then I gotta handle business and really follow through with this thing. Okay,
so your first show. Let's fast forward a little bit. Your first show, the one in Clarksville, the open mic.
Yes. That was bad. Listen, so let me let you get to your question. But I remember, like T's ride or die. When they talk about, when artists or anybody talk about a ride or die, like, I feel like I've got the true definition of ride or die, because she had my back. I'm this confident, cocky, don't have any music out, don't even know if anybody's gonna like my music artist. Like, I just felt like I was just that dope. Like, I felt like anything that I put out and touched, it was because it came from my heart and my mind, it was gonna be dope. T told me, she was like, hey man, you might want to watch some YouTube videos on people performing so you can get your stage presence together. And I remember looking at her and be like, I ain't gotta do that.
Yeah.
I got this. As long as I know this music, I got this. I'm gonna wow everybody because, like, I'm just that dope. And it was an epic failure. It was so bad. But go ahead and ask your question. I don't know if your question was if it was gonna be, if I felt like it was that bad or what.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. No, when it was an epic failure.
Yeah.
What made you say I'm gonna keep going on, and instead of, because like you said, you are prideful.
I am very.
You are very prideful, and you're the type of person to where if something doesn't feel right, that's it. Like I'm good on that. So what made you say I'm gonna keep trying after that epic failure of a performance?
But see, it wasn't just that one. It was two of them, two really bad ones. But I felt it inside is that I had to learn. I think that it's very easy, and I think one of the reasons I remember telling you why I didn't want to watch. At the time, I was really big on Wiz Khalifa. I've always loved Kanye, so like those are my two that I would. Two people that I would watch, but now, thinking back that I watched the most. But I remember telling you, it's like, man, I can't watch them because the people in the crowd know their songs. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make sense for me to watch these guys perform when they could stop rapping at any point and the crowd is going to keep rapping for them. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a mindset when I bombed those two times that, okay, I can get better at this. Like, I have to get better at this. I know I'm better than this. Even to this day, with this being my third album, I still feel like I've got something important that I want to put in front of people. So even if I bombed on stage, the first two were so bad. The first one was the worst. The one in Clarksville was the absolute worst, just because I was basically stuck in a corner doing a two-step while I was rapping. No stage presence at all. And then the second one was actually at a club. I believe this was one of the first and last times I've ever performed at a club, but it was in Indianapolis. It was an open mic, and I got there. I had to pay $25 to do it. One song, $25. Stood in line for like an hour before the club opened, and I don't, and I'm sure that a lot of people are new to or are unfamiliar with my music and all that stuff. But like, I don't have club music. And so one of the first things I tell people, anybody who asks me about music or they're interested in doing music is, when you start writing your music and you get your songs, know who you're making your songs for. So I was figuring like, look, again, my music is hot. I feel like it can be played anywhere. Like, that was the confidence that I had. I went into that club, and people, the few acts before me were talking about shaking butts and all this other stuff. Like regular club type music. I mean, I guess it was good. I don't know. But, they had people in there rocking with them, off of their songs. And then here I come rapping about, and my song is about me being undeniably good. And, I mean, like, there had to be at least, 200 people standing right in front of me. And no one batted an eye. No one moved. They stared at me the entire song. And it was unnerving. It was bad, But again, like, now I know where I can and can't go. Mm-hmm. And I'm not to say that I don't have bad performances or bad shows, but I mean, I still have that confidence to keep going.
Okay. We fast forward a little bit and talk about the time where, here it was, you said, I was a ride or die, where this choice to choose music, because that's what I felt like it was. You felt like it was a calling.
Yes.
I felt like it was a choice. To choose music was coming in between your duties and responsibilities as a husband and as a father, because you were in school full time.
Yes, I was.
And you were working full time.
Yes, I was.
And so we fast forward, you're getting gigs. And now I stepped into the managerial role and I was booking you a lot of performances and stuff. But then you had outside management to where I felt like you were choosing what the outside management was saying over what I guess what the plan was as far as the two of us were doing. And so at what point did you, I guess, see that this could be costing my relationship?
When I started spending more money, and I think that it was, and I've told you this before, and that, sometimes, when you're early on in your career, man, I believe that God puts things in front of you to teach you a lesson, but not teach you a lesson to an extent to where it completely cripples you. So the situation you're talking about where I wanted outside management, I had had seen him on Instagram, whatever. So I was seeing him on Facebook and stuff, and he was doing stuff and getting, at the time, what I perceived was getting shows and stuff for another artist, and he believe he had hit me up on Facebook or something like that. Anyway, I had become friends with him and was following what he was doing with another artist, and I was just like, man, like he's about to take this other artist who was a singer to another level. And and it wasn't a knock on you. It was just, I just felt like
he had more experience.
Right, he had more experience in that he could really accelerate this thing. And it didn't turn out to be that way. And the lesson that was learned was not necessarily the acceleration of the process, but it was the money that was spent and learning when and where to invest your money and who to invest your money in. Because if your goals aren't aligned, then you're probably about to waste your money, especially as an artist like me. Like I said, I don't believe, even now, even with the project that I have coming out, I don't believe I have radio type singles that are that would be in heavy rotation. And even back then, I as much as I wanted to believe that, I never really felt that. And his vision for me was a lot different than what I believed my vision was. His vision was, okay, pick your best song or whatever, and we're going to push this thing until we can't push it anymore. And I was more on the line of, I want to push a project. I want to push something. I want to give people, forget how many tracks, or however many tracks it is, but I want to give people a product, because I don't feel like I didn't feel like my best song was the best representation of who I was as an artist. And so I felt like I wanted to rely on a project to be that representation. But his thing was, no, we got to work the single, work the single, work the single, work the single. And I didn't I wasn't in love with the single that we picked, or he picked.
Yeah, it was he. Let's just back that up for a second. It was the single that he picked, because I very, very, very adamantly did not like the single. But what was hardest for me with this time with the outside management, it wasn't even the fact that I felt that Quinn was, going against the grain and, choosing another person over family. It was during this time I had developed postpartum depression. And so we had our second child, and here I have my husband who is traveling and doing shows, and I'm at home with two babies. They were 2 under 2? Two and under. Yeah, two and under. And I'm home by myself, and with the kids, and they're crying, or they're both wanting or need at the same time, and you're talking about nights, and he was gone. And I don't think I had ever felt so alone in my life, even though I had the kids, but it was because I was going through postpartum depression at that time. And I felt that he was being selfish, in the sense of, he was saying, I'm doing this for the family, but to me it felt like, this is what you want, so this is what you're trying to do, and this is too big of a sacrifice that you're willing to make. And that plays back to the whole cost thing. So going back, do you feel like you learned from that situation, or if you could do things differently, would you have done things differently?
Well, hindsight is always 20/20. The first thing I think about is the money spent, because again, just like with the equipment and the beats, the money spent when you have other needs is always, at least for me, is always the first thing that I think about as it relates to my past. Like, man, because I think it was about, I want to say it was about $1,000 that we had paid him, or I had paid him. I guess it wasn't necessarily a we.
Yeah, it wasn't a we. Let's be clear with that.
But it was about $1,000, and again, like you said, 2 kids under 2. You're at home all day. Like, and
I wasn't working.
Right. I feel like that money could have been put in better places. Some of it's spent on music, some of it's spent on, whatever else. But to me, that's the biggest part of the regret. But I take the lesson learned as like my 1B. Like, the money is 1A, but the lesson learned in, if you're gonna have somebody who manages you, or even he wasn't my manager. His role was he was a managing consultant. So he wasn't my manager. He was just consulting me in my in direction and all that. And I think that the lesson that I learned from that was I need to see me and him, or me and her, whomever, need to be on the same page as it relates to my music and the vision, and to also have realistic expectations, because I jumped into that situation thinking that he was going to take me farther, faster, and all it really did was it hurt us and set us back because of the financial investment.
Yeah, and I think that something got further, all right, it was our relationship.
Right.
You know, we were driven further apart because of it, or as a result of it. And so you have this happen, and you have a wife who at that point, I guess, it's coming off as nagging, because when you're doing shows and you're out of town and I'm, requesting you call me. It's like I said, postpartum depression, so my, self-esteem, self-worth, value, all of those things had plummeted. And you're doing shows out of town, or babe, I gotta go, we being called here, we gotta be there at this hotel or whatever. And so it was a huge cost, because
right.
I'm hearing you say, this is what I was told, this is my vision, this is my purpose, and it's gonna pay. And then when it wasn't, you have a song where you're talking about Medicaid. What song is that?
Oh, Fly Away.
Okay, tell me about Fly Away. Or tell my listeners about Fly Away.
Okay, so Fly Away is a song where it's probably the most personal song that I've written. I wrote it and then got permission to allow it to be heard.
Yeah.
Because there are things in there that, that maybe only certain people know, or maybe no one knew outside of us. And I mean, I don't go into grave detail, but Fly Away is basically a song that is in a sense kind of dedicated to you and your willingness to stay here through the turmoil, through all of the ups and mainly downs of me trying to become an artist, or me staying as an artist but trying to become a paid artist who does this for a living. But yeah, it talks about some of the struggles that we've had, and how bad it has gotten. I don't know if you want me to say some of those lyrics, but I mean, it is definitely personal.
I mean, you put it in the lyrics, so it's in the song, so people are gonna hear it. He seems like he doesn't want to talk about his song. That's fine. No. So there's a part where you talk about Medicaid, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll tell them the Medicaid story. You want me to tell it?
Go, man.
Shoot. All right. Well, I don't have any qualms about talking about it. That's not the case now, But when I graduated from the University of Tennessee, that's right. Don't forget the capital T on that. When I graduated from the University of Tennessee with my master's in social work and had all these big lofty plans for my life, knew what I wanted to be, all of those things. Money was never an issue for me growing up in the household with my mom and my stepdad, and I got whatever I wanted, was spoiled. So when I graduated, I was spoiled. So when I graduated with my master's, we found out I was pregnant with our oldest, our son. And so I go to Indianapolis to move with my fiance, leaving behind a job in Tennessee. And then my father was offering me a job in South Carolina to move back home. But I stayed with my soon-to-be husband, my baby daddy. Guys, thank you for listening. You just heard a snippet of everything. And when you said that that's the most Christian song on the CD, well, why you put it on the CD then?
Because I like it, man. I think it's a dope track. No, I do. Again, I mean, I'm not gonna hide my faith. I'm not gonna hide my spirituality. I'm not running from that. I just want, again, and I'm not running from performing at churches. I just want people to know what you're getting if you want me to perform at a church. I'm not gonna get up there and preach. I'm not gonna get up there and I'm gonna get up there. We're gonna rock the crowd. We're gonna have a good time like it's a regular show, and I'm gonna go home. That's all I want to do. Because when we were throwing shows in in Columbia, we were having altar calls, and I don't want to do any of that, man.
He does want people to get saved.
No, I do.
I promise. He loves the Lord. He's saved, but he's just saying he doesn't feel comfortable getting up there and saying, "Do you know your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?"
Well, it's not that I don't feel comfortable doing it. It's just that like that's not my calling. Like that's not what I'm trying to do within this music thing. Like I want to do something different. I want to be me, and I want there to be no pressure to be me. Like I said, I just want to get up there, man. I want to have a good time. So we can do it big. Everything is a real nice hype track. Love Mo gets busy on that joint. I just want to get up there and do my thing, and then get off the stage when I'm done. Hopefully to an applause and maybe an encore. I don't know, something. But I don't want to have church while I'm on stage, man. So and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm a Christian who raps, but I'm not I'm not a spiritual rapper. I'm not a whatever you want to call it. Like I'm not out there for that. And I know plenty of Christian rappers, man, who are killing it, and like that's what they want to do specifically, and more power to them. You want me on the track, I will definitely get on the track, but I don't want to put that face on anymore. Like that's why in one of the verses I talk about taking that mask off to be everything I want to be to take off, and that's part of it.
Okay, so right now I want to do a little speed round with you real quick. Mm-hmm. So what is your biggest regret right now with music? It's called speed for a reason, Quinn.
Man, listen, I don't know.
Come on, man.
Okay.
Biggest regret right now with music?
Paying the consultant. It's my biggest regret.
Okay. Best show or favorite performance?
Oh, man. When we run the Rock the Block contest, and Love Mo and I got to perform Do It Big at the festival in downtown Columbia.
Okay, what is your biggest failure right now, to date?
Not being more successful than I am now.
Okay. How do you achieve that?
By putting my best foot forward and learning from my mistakes,
okay, and
marketing myself better. Like I said, I believe the product is there. It's just putting it in front of people and then giving them a reason to listen. That's what it is.
So, because I know you, there are a lot of nights where you can't sleep, or you'll wake up super early in the morning and then complain all day long that you're tired and expect me to want to inquire as to why you're tired when I already know. So I'm not going to keep asking you, what's wrong, babe? Why are you tired?
Good.
If I know why you're tired.
Good.
So with that being said, from a mental health standpoint, mm-hmm, do you feel like music depresses you, exhausts you?
Yes.
Okay, so why do you do it? Wouldn't it be easier just for you to say, because, I mean, he has a degree, he went to college, he has a degree. Wouldn't it be easier just for you to say, okay, I'm just going to focus on being a career man and dad that's at all of my son's games, all of my daughter's games? Wouldn't that be easier?
From what standpoint?
From any.
No. I think, I love music. I love the process of listening to beats and hearing the song in the beat before I actually start writing. I love that process. It's frustrating, when you can't get the words right, but just listening to a beat and getting excited, like, yo, like, it's not just hearing it, like, man, this is a tight beat, but hearing it and saying, like, I can hear the song in this, and so I've got to pull it out of me, because I think it's going to be dope. I love that process. I love getting on stage. Now I'm immune to the blank stares and the head scratches, the yawns. I'm immune to all that. Like, I love getting on stage and doing what I got to do. I don't get that same as much as I love my kids and as much as I support anything that they do. Like, I don't get that same thrill in any other part of my life.
It's messed up.
It is messed up. But it's honest. Like, I love watching my son play football. I love watching my oldest daughter play softball. I love watching them compete. I love when they bring home drawings and
he lying. He be hating on our son.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
When James brings home a drawing, he does not even say he likes it.
Wait. I clown him
hard
because he can't draw, but I love it because it means everything in the world to him. But I have to give him a hard time because he cannot draw at all. It is horrible.
Well, you can't draw.
I can't, but I know my strengths and weaknesses. I'm not an artistic person.
So let me ask you this next question. It's a serious question. Do you feel like you've lost friends along the way in this process? Because you mentioned something. You said you've become immune to the blank stares and stuff like that. Harold and I, or Quinn and I, are different in that respect, to where I'm more so, he's more laid back than me. So I'm kind of, in your face. I think our personalities show in, what we do. But so if someone doesn't like, his music, or they say something about it, whatever, I got something to say. Now you got an issue with me. If someone doesn't like Truth Moment or things I said, he's more chill and laid back. He's like, that's your opinion. Boo, you got this. Don't worry about what nobody say. So it can be difficult for us as far as maintaining a circle, because we have to have people that understand what we do. The regular 9-to-5 dream does not excite us.
Right.
We feel like we're called to more,
right.
Than that. So do you feel like you've lost friends along the way?
No.
So all your friends support you?
But see, I think there's
shade.
I think there's a difference between
right
lost friends and not having the support of friends.
Okay.
There's a huge difference.
Well, see, to me there isn't, because I feel like if I don't have your support, then we ain't friends like that.
I'm not gonna like everything you do. I mean, not you specifically, but
No, me specifically. You're not gonna like everything I do.
That's true. But just because you don't support me doesn't mean that we can't be friends. Like, I can't look at it under that light. But what that also means is, if you don't support me while I am, doing
open mics.
Right, doing open mics.
When he's selling out arenas, don't be asking for no
you
ticket.
Can't participate.
He will want to give you one. I'm going to tell you can't have one.
No. You don't get any friends benefits. We can still be cool, but and I think that what we do is subjective. There are a lot of people, a lot of artists out now that I don't like, that people love. There are a lot of talk show people out that a lot of people like. There's some that you don't like. There's one in particular that there's a guy that you just do not like.
There's a guy?
Light skin.
A light skin guy that I don't like?
Talk show.
I don't know who that is.
His name begins with an H. Last name begins with a B.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Harry Belafonte.
I don't even know who that is.
You do know who that is.
Yeah, I know, but he
got a talk show.
No.
He has a talk show.
No.
You say you don't.
That's not no daggone Harry Belafonte.
Who was that?
You talking about the white dude?
No.
Yes,
with the brown hair. His name is Harry Belafonte.
No, it's not. You talking about
His name is Harry Belafonte.
No, it's not. No.
Oh,
yeah, you messed up. But anyway,
no. But look, the point is,
he's so stupid.
You could support me without liking my music. Stuff as simple as shares. I heard about Drake through a friend back in 2009 when he was when he had just kind of released So Far Gone. I heard about Drake through a friend. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you can't do the same, even if it's through just a share, you don't have to ride in your car and be like, hey man, listen to my boy, because that's what my homeboy did with Drake. He was like, yo man, you heard this dude Drake? He popped it in and we started listening. I was like, yo, this dude is dope. You don't have to do that. As long as all you do is you can say, hey man, listen, Quinn, Harold, whatever you want to call me, man, you my homie, you my boy, but I can't ride with your music. But I'm at least gonna share. I feel like that's enough. So, but I'm not gonna kick you to the curb as a friend just because you don't support me. But if you can't at least share, you can't buy a ticket to come out, or even, come see me do something free. Then and I don't want to say, oh, I'm doing stadiums and got millions of dollars. Even if it's just $1,000 there, $100,000, but I'm doing it off of music and doing tours and all that other stuff. You can't ride that wave with me. That doesn't mean I don't. Hey man, you still my homie. We still cool, but you can't ride that wave with me. I'm not gonna cut you off.
Well, we're different. Tomato. Real quick. Yeah, I already did. You're wrong. Real quick. Go ahead and do the humble freestyle. I told him I was gonna put him on the spot. Do the humble freestyle. Matter of fact, you want me to play the instrumental on the thing? You sure?
You can.
You just gonna do it with the whatchamacallit? You just gonna do it right now with the mic. Before you do that, while I'm pulling it up, so there's no lag time. Tell everyone where they can follow you, when your album gonna drop tentatively, all that stuff. Go ahead.
All right. So all social media is at QS the Best Music, at QS the Best Music. So of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Same thing on SoundCloud. And I believe it's the same thing on Reverb Nation, although I don't really get on Reverb like that. But any new music that I post will be going at a minimum through SoundCloud. The album, hopefully, I'm aiming for August 24th, I believe. But I still have a lot of the album still isn't done. It's all written. I just need to re-record it. So August 24th is a tentative date, but it could change to maybe the following week or 2 weeks after that. It just depends on the studio time. But I'll keep everybody up to date on that. So, but make sure you follow me. Like I said, I'm gonna start releasing tracks here that are done here and there, just to kind of create some sort of hype and buzz for it. I believe the album is like 13 tracks. It's gonna be dope, man. As long as you like some lyrics, you like some wordplay. My man B Moore, the one hand producer, he produced, like I said, all the tracks except for one. And he's a phenomenal producer, man. And my sound is different, and his sound is different, and I appreciate that. I don't believe there are any trap beats on it, or trap beat sounds. So if you can't get with that, then you probably can't get with the album, and it just kind of sucks for you.
All right, the Humble video dropped. You didn't talk about that. That one is dropped.
Yeah.
He has another one coming up. But I'm about to play the instrumental for Humble so he can spit real quick, spit his 16.
Well, I'll just do it a cappella.
You do a cappella?
Yeah, because there's a pause in there. I don't want to miss it.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's so fast. All right.
You got it. You been going to the gym. You went to the gym like all week last
But I
week.
ain't running though. I was only lifting, so I ain't got no stamina right now. I might get winded halfway through the verse.
Cool.
All right. You don't have to ask, I've been humble since '09. Came in the game with thoughts of taking over and skipping lines. Instead, I played my part, stayed in my lane, watching others shine. Being humble has me on tiptoes, looking from the back of the line. I toot my horn, I beat my drum, I beat my chest till my shirt gets torn. I gotta do it cause you won't do it. I'm used to it, you're my influence. Rhyme like this, it'll make you wins. Till you listening, you're convinced that I'm that guy. I speak my truth. Conventional rappers what I defy. Fight the tendencies that seem to cause me to overthink when I spit. Crazy cause when my rhymes are dumbed down, they're still deep as a pit. When they used to ask for a rap, I'd be embarrassed and say a little bit. Now I'm lit, ready with a fresh 16. If they want me to rap a little bit, kill this beat, I'ma keep going till their will gets weak. And they say it's heat, no sweat from my brow. My time is now shoot off at the mouth with a gun, go power with a message in the bullets, and I'm aiming for your head. Never shoot blank, so remember what I said. You say I can't, well I'm trying to get ahead, blow up, you'll eat humble pie instead.
Hey, you did it! Yeah, you did it.
I almost ain't make it.
I was gonna have to drag him out to the car. But yeah, guys, I want to thank you so much for vibing with us tonight, listening to me and Quinn, me and Harold, our truth. And yeah, again, be sure to follow him and be on the lookout for the new music, new tracks coming out, new videos coming out. I'm Tierra Pritchett. This is Quintessential. That's our truth moment.
What's yours?
Man, come on now. You know that's my thing. What's yours? Peace.